sales jumped 227% as an impact of luxury tax waiver on car incentives. All Garuda Indonesia's cabin crew have been vaccinated. Good afternoon, viewers. Market Headlines is ready to provide a number of informations from business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Wicky Adrian, this is Market Headlines. And let's start Market Headlines from the automotive sector. According to government's calculation, up to April 2021, car sales jumped 227%. Thanks to tax waiver on car incentives.
The government ensures that the tax incentives for car sales is in line with the expectation. This was conveyed by the coordinating minister for the economic affairs, Erlangga Hartarto, who stated that until April there had been a surge in the percentage of car sales. Government data shows that the car sales in April 2021 increased by 227% on the annual basis. This is an impact of the implementations of luxury tax waiver on the car incentives. In March only, the sales jumped 26.85% annually. Erlangga ensures that the government will continue the tax waiver.
Itu pada saat awal diberlakukan sudah ada kenaikan 28,25% secara year on year. Namun di April itu ada kenaikan yang lebih besar lagi, yaitu sekitar 227% secara year on year. Nah, tentu kita melihat bahwa fasilitas-fasilitas ini yang sudah diberikan ya tentu akan dilanjutkan sesuai dengan skenario yang sudah diumumkan.
At the beginning of the year, the government has undergone luxury tax waiver on the car from March to May 2021. Meanwhile, June to August, tax waiver only 50%. And this applied for the medium car and 4x2 type vehicles with a power of up to 1,500 cc. Jakarta, Raja Pakmo for IDX Channel.
Luxury tax waiver on car makes more people buy car, which is good for automotive sector, but then it will bring bad impact to the road safety. Car sales jumped 237% in April after a luxury tax waiver on car was given by the government. Road safety practitioner and founder of Jakarta Defensive Driving Consulting, Jusri Palubuhu, said that increasing car users will have a negative impact on traffic congestion. According to him, the increase in vehicle population is not proportional to roads built by the government. He explained the worst-case scenario, whereas people will have tendency to buy new cars rather than use public transportation. Therefore, he assessed that it would be better if government encouraged public transportation infrastructure rather than push people's purchasing power.
Sisi positif yang kita lihat adalah ekonomi di industri otomotif akan meningkat, tetapi di aspek lain seperti saya katakan dari perspektif road safety, keselamatan, kenyamanan, kelancaran, ini akan terjadi kemacetan yang luar biasa karena kita tahu PR kita belum selesai, di mana jumlah populasi kendaraan meningkat pada tahun 2018 ke bawah sebelum pandemi atau 2019 ke bawah, peningkatan populasi kendaraan itu meningkat lumayan tinggi, yaitu sekitar 10%, sedangkan pertambahan jalan cuma di bawah 2%, sehingga yang terjadi adalah ketidaknyamanan akibat
12 months in a row, Indonesia recorded trade surplus. According to Statistik Indonesia, in April 2021, the trade surplus reached 2.19 billion rupiah. Statistik Indonesia noted that Indonesia's trade balance in April 2021 again experienced a surplus of 2.19 billion US dollar. The surplus was obtained after exports were recorded at 18.48 billion US dollar, while imports were only 16.29 billion US dollar. Head of Statistik Indonesia, Suharyanto, said that the trade balance surplus last month was the highest compared to the surplus since January 2021. In fact, Indonesia recorded surplus for 12 months in a row.
Ini secara month-to-month, ekspor kita naik 0,69%. Dan secara Y-on-Y kenaikannya sangat mengesankan, yaitu sebesar 51,94%.
As an effort to prevent coronavirus, the Ministry of Industry continues to boost testing tools production such as genomes. For now, middle students of industrial technology in Yogyakarta are able to make up to 5,000 genomes.
The vocational education unit under the Ministry of Industry, namely Vocational High School Industrial Technology Middle School Yogyakarta, is entrusted with assembling Genos C19. This school is assessed to have high-quality standard. According to the minister, in the early stages of productions, the school was able to meet the assembly target of 3,000 units of Genos C19. And therefore, production is currently running to meet the target of 2,000 units, so a total of 5,000 units of Genos C19 are assembled.
MK ini dipercaya untuk melakukan proses assembling untuk memproduksi Genos yang kita ketahui bersama. Jadi mungkin selama ini banyak sekali, banyak yang belum paham bahwa sebetulnya Kementerian Perindustrian punya peran yang cukup besar dalam membangun alat Genos untuk mendeteksi COVID-19.
The government will continue to oversee the development of Genos C19, and later it will not only be used in transportation sector, but it is encouraged to be used in education sector. From Yogyakarta, Ade Firmansyah, IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Kunci dari kesuksesan hulu migas Indonesia ke depan ini apa, Pak?
Fleksibilitas fiskal yang akan dikeluarkan untuk menjaga keekonomian. Investor akan datang itu saja.
Oke, Pak.
Keekonomiannya terjamin.
Iya kan, kalau dokter kan kayak, keluhan kamu ini, aku tahu ilmunya, kamu lakukan ini ya. Kalau ini kan kayak konsumen maunya apa sih, ngikut gitu kan, fokusnya tuh beda gitu kan.
Welcome back. The Indonesian government met virtually with member countries of the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, or OIC, on May 16, 2021, with the main agenda of discussing the current situation on the conflict between Israel and Palestine, During the meeting, Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi reiterated the OIC's commitment to support Palestine.
In a virtual meeting with member countries of the Islamic Cooperation Organization with the main agenda of discussing the current situation of the Israeli and Palestinian conflict, Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi reiterated the OIC's commitment to support Palestine.
Perjuangan untuk mendukung kemerdekaan Palestina masih jauh dari selesai. Persatuan negara OKI, saya tekankan lagi, harus terus kita jaga untuk mendukung perjuangan Palestina. Saya tekankan bahwa Indonesia akan terus mendukung perjuangan Palestina.
Not only affirming the OIC's commitment, Retno also revealed that Indonesia proposed several steps that must be taken by the OIC. First, she emphasized the issue of unity among OIC member countries. Without unity, the OIC will not be able to become a mobilizer for international support for Palestine. In addition, said Retno, the unity of the stakeholders in Palestine must also be strengthened. She said Palestine could only achieve its goal of independence if it was united. Second, the OIC must seek an immediate ceasefire. Third, Retno asked the OIC to remain focused on helping Palestinian independence. In this regard, the OIC should make more efforts to encourage the resumption of multilateral negotiations. She said negotiations must be guided by internationally agreed parameters with the aim of achieving a sustainable peace based on the principle of a two-state solution. IDX Channel team reported.
Yeah, to get a deeper view on what needs to be done to strengthen Indonesia's diplomatic efforts to stop Israel military aggression toward Palestine. Now I have Mrs. Dina Prapto Raharja as an Associate Professor in International Relations and founder of Synergy Policies. Hello, Mrs. Dina.
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you for joining on Market Headline. So talking about what happened in Israel and Palestine, Indonesia actually shown its firm gesture on what is actually Israel did, or Israel military aggression towards Palestine. Talking about the significance on the gesture, is it going to work significantly?
Under the current circumstance, where most countries would likely prefer to restrain from doing significant actions to stop Israel, the gesture of resistance from Indonesia and the way Indonesia tried to collect greater supports from more countries is indeed significant. Otherwise, Israel would think that this kind of action is condoned by everybody. So this is a very critical moment, actually, that more and more countries should raise their voice and say that aggression is not acceptable.
Okay, so when Indonesia work alone, or Indonesia so far maybe one of the few countries that's showing the assertive gesture on what is actually Israel do to Palestine. Days ago, Indonesia asked the members of OIC to show the same gesture on what is actually Israel do to Palestine. So when it comes to OIC, when we have the same gesture, is it going to work more effectively?
Now, it's one thing to say that what Israel do is unacceptable, and it's another thing to make sure that Israel stops the aggression. So the statements from these countries may not necessarily lead to Israel's willingness to do a ceasefire. Approaching OIC is mainly to draw solidarity from these groups of Muslim countries, Muslim-majority countries, who since 1969 tried to grow more and more solidarity. But as I observe, OIC is more of a cultural and sometimes to some degree human rights related, but very norm-based rather than practical. At the economic issues as well as political issues, each member state actually goes on their own. So it's same thing with Arab League. So Arab League, for instance, in the past has been very strong in trying to grow solidarity among Arab countries. But since the Six-Day War in 1967, which led to the, unfortunately, what they didn't predict, the loss of the Arab coalition, they basically started to fall apart. So their solidarity was not as strong. And as you can see, since the Trump administration from the United States initiation of Abraham Accords, more and more Arab countries is now siding, or at least tolerating Israel as at the economic level. And this is basically more and more signs that Arab countries is falling apart in solidarity.
So are you saying that Indonesia's effort to do the lobbying or to OIC member of countries to do or to show the same gesture, was it such a waste because you're kind of feeling doubt on what is actually OIC members to show the same gesture like Indonesia?
As I said, it's not a waste. It's important to voice concern, but it's not sufficient. And this strategy is going outdated more and more because Israel, its approach to the rest of the world is through economic partnerships. And Israel outreach to make sure that its existence in the Middle East is getting stronger is really broad, worldwide. Whereas the efforts from Palestinians as well as the Arab coalitions that initially supported Palestinians has shrunk more and more. I'm talking about the strategy here. If we want to make sure that the area of Palestine, the existence of Palestine is not fading from years to come, then some new strategy needs to be built. And it needs to be more than just a norm-based, suggestions and gesture. This is very practical war to some degree. But I would agree that if we use violence, it will not, lead to betterment of Palestine. You see how Hamas actually benefits from this violence that Israel has started. And the moderate groups now remain silent. And, this is also dividing Arab member states even more.
Okay, so actually it needs more intensive efforts to stop what actually happened between Israel and Palestine. So if I may conclude what you already convey, is that the Arab coalitions, the member of the Arab coalitions not showing the necessary gesture to stop what is actually happened there.
Yeah, I think one of the most needed to be thought about strategy is to go in depth into the Arabs living inside of Israel, because the size of Arab population inside of Israel is now reaching 20%. So it's among one of the largest size of population, and it's also growing significantly in politics. And the competition inside of Israel in terms of political parties is getting fierce. So this is actually an opportunity. If we want to build a stronger Palestine, somehow there should be a solidarity between the Palestinian Arabs with the Arabs inside of Israel and also the neighboring countries.
Okay.
And the insecurity that Egypt, for instance, as well as Jordan, has experienced lately, given their, quite shaky political leadership status, also needs to be to get assurance from other countries, from support. So at least those who live nearby with Palestine would be able to reach out to Palestine upon, needed time.
Right. So I think I'm going to need your statement on the last question real quick, Mrs. Dina. So how strong is actually Indonesia's position as UN member, which is hold on to the free and active politics to channel Palestine's rights?
In United Nations, if we want to be influential in there, we have to be consistent in adhering to norms. So one thing that Indonesia has been not quite consistent about lately is that when it comes to some actions that they think would reflect back, would come back to chase us in the future, Indonesia decided not to support. For instance, the issue of recently in May 18, Indonesia just refused to sign the resolution on prevention of genocide. So with this and with all the aggression that has been happening, this is a contradiction. This is a paradox to what we are trying to fight for globally. And to the issue of Myanmar, for instance, we haven't been voicing anything in the UN on this matter, and we'd rather keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
So
I guess we're kind of doing the safe position on what has actually happened in some certain issues. So actually, I still have a lot of questions to ask you, but too bad we have a very limited time. Thank you very much for your comprehensive views on what happened actually in Israel and Palestine. And hopefully we're hoping nothing but the best for Palestine, or actually what happened in global community. Thank you very much, Mrs. Dina.
You're welcome. Thank you.
See you very soon. And stay tuned on Market Line Speakers. We'll be right back after the break.
Menteri Kelautan dan Perikanan Wahyu Sakti Tenggono secara tegas melarang aktivitas ekspor benih lobster.
Karena benur itu adalah kekayaan daripada bangsa ini, kekayaan dari alam ini. Dia hanya boleh dibudidaya.
Presiden Joko Widodo resmi mencabut aturan terkait investasi industri minuman keras.
Bahlil Lahadalia menyebutkan
adalah kita memberikan perizinan berusaha dan bisnis bagi UMKM.
Milikilah tujuan atau purpose yang udah beyond self, yang udah di luar diri kita.
Indeks harga saham gabungan bergerak fluktuatif.
Nilai tukar rupiah terhadap dolar Amerika Serikat sedikit mengalami apresiasi.
Bagaimana dengan target pertumbuhan ekonomi Indonesia di kuartal 1 tahun ini?
Sehingga pada kuartal 1 tahun 2021 diperkirakan ekonomi akan mengalami kontraksi, akan mengalami penurunan.
Faktor-faktor utama dalam penolakan dari Uni Eropa terkait produk sawit Indonesia.
Indonesia disebut belum mampu menerapkan standar lingkungan yang cukup dan juga standar keberlanjutan yang cukup.
Welcome back. We're on the last segment at the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. Earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 5,919.6, and then approaching the closing time of the session, the index was on the level of 5,863.28. Then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 5,797.59. In short, JCI went up 0.64%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. Telkom went up 4.75% to the level of 3,310 rupiah per share. BBRI went up 0.26% to the level of 3,880 rupiah per share. And BBCA went up 0.55% to the level of 31,900 rupiah per share. TBIG went up 3.32% to the level of 2,490 rupiah per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got ANTM went down 5.1% to the level of 2,420 rupiah per share. MDKA went down 4.94% to the level of 2,500 rupiah per share. BMRI went down 0.44% to the level of 5,550 rupiah per share. INCO went down 4.75% to the level of 4,810 rupiah per share. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Open at the level of 14,397. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar. Was closed at the level of 14,388. In summary, rupiah went down 0.87%. Garuda Indonesia management ensures that all cabin crew and pilots of Garuda Indonesia and CityLink Airlines have received complete COVID-19 vaccinations. This vaccination is carried out by management in order to provide more protection to the community using the Garuda Indonesia Group flight service.
Garuda Indonesia Group, through its Garuda Indonesia and CityLink aviation business lines, became the first national airlines in Indonesia with pilots and cabin crew who have been completely vaccinated against COVID-19. President Director of Garuda Indonesia Irfan Setiaputra said that the implementation of vaccination for all pilots and cabin crew is a form of management commitment in bringing a sense of security and comfort to all people who use Garuda Indonesia Group flight services.
Pelaksanaan program vaksinasi COVID-19 ini tentunya sejalan dengan komitmen kami untuk menghadirkan proteksi yang maksimal bagi para pengguna jasa Garuda Indonesia Group melalui pelayanan oleh para awak pesawat yang bertugas dalam kondisi fit to fly berdasarkan hasil pre-medical flight dan tes bebas COVID-19.
Irfan also appreciated the government for providing support to the health aspects of aviation industry workers, accompanied by awareness of the implementation of health protocols by the public. So that with the use of vaccines and the strict application of health protocols, it is hoped that it can encourage economic recovery and the tourism sector. From Jakarta, Wicky Adrian for IDX Channel.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role in current economic situation. And here is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news closes our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel. And don't forget to always wear face mask in public, keeping safe physical distances, and washing hands to break the chain of COVID-19 infections. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.